Good morning and welcome to Let's Get Real, where the music feud gets real. I'm your host, Jenelle Debate, and today I have my two guests, Cam Denmark and Thomas Garris. Cam Denmark is an executive manager and representative for Atlantic Records, and then we have Tom Garris representing the sales and revenue department at Sony Records. We'll find out whether which label is a better fit for rising artists. Is it Atlantic or Sony? So, what record label is better? Sony?
Well, obviously, I'm going to go with the label that I represent, not just because I represent Sony labels, but because it's the complete truth. Sony has been known for its innovation in the music industry since its incorporation. I mean, if you look back into the 80s, the Sony Walkman revolutionized music listening, and then even on to today on the PlayStation systems, you can listen to through our partnership with Spotify, and our variety of artists as well, from Beyonce, Alicia Keys, NSYNC, Springsteen. Have your pick. If you want to come to a record label, pick Sony.
Atlantic Records is a classy organization that specializes in classy music. R&B, jazz, soul. Our artists include Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, Bruno Mars, Missy Elliott.
Haven't heard most of those names since the 60s.
Coldplay played at the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? Listen, if I were an up-and-coming music artist, I would not want to pick a company that treats their employees like Sony does.
So, Cam, is that your take on the situation?
The Kesha situation?
The Kesha situation. And speaking of that, the case with Kesha that came on June 9th, 2015, was reported that Kesha amended her complaint against Dr. Luke, her producer, and added a suit against Sony. So, Tom, can you please speak on that? Well,
this case is already pretty cut and dry. A judge tossed it out because, there wasn't enough evidence that Kesha had against Dr. Luke. We understand that the music industry is a very competitive one. It's very tough to be good at, and we want to continue to be great, making great music with Kesha. So in terms of the case, all I'm really going to say on that is that it's done and over with.
And Cam, what's your take on it?
Jenelle, Sony didn't act appropriately when it came to this Kesha case. Kesha's lawyer said, and I quote, "Abusive conduct was open and obvious to Sony Music Entertainment executives." They just turned a blind eye to this entire case, and they've just brushed it off like it was nothing. I mean, how can you treat your employees like Sony has treated theirs? I mean, we take these claims we take these claims very seriously, and I'm sure you've heard this too, working with Atlantic. I mean, like I said, this industry, very competitive, very tough to get into, and hard to be good at. It takes long nights, early mornings to get this music out there, and that's what we have been trying to do. We had an internal review of this to see how we can improve in the future. But as for any legal, any legal battles, it's all said and over with. It's all done. It is a tough industry, and I do agree with you on that. But that doesn't make up for the fact that Sony did not treat this case very appropriately. I mean, some of the things that were said within the Sony Music organization about the Kesha case, about just absolutely blowing this off.
Well, even if you take an internal look at your own label, Lupe Fiasco in 2014 said he couldn't wait to be done with Atlantic Records because the executive branch wasn't looking out for him. He said they weren't vibing together, that whole thing. You're obviously having your own problems as well. So not to say that we don't, but we're working on them to try and get better as well.
January 2017, Paul McCartney sues.
Don't mean to interrupt you guys,
rights.
But now, Tom, I have this question for you. The two labels seem to have the same amount of numbers and popular names under their belt. So what stands out from your company and its connections with its artists?
We're a company that really tries to represent our artists in the best light, in the best way, and work as a team. What you can see with our label, a couple of names I mentioned, Beyonce, Alicia Keys, Bruce Springsteen, NSYNC over the years, Jimi Hendrix back in the day. Any kind of music that we see out there, any kind of artist that we can take a look at and say, man, this person's going to be something, we're going to help them get there. We see the talent in them. If you're an artist, we have experts, in all types of music. So if you're looking to sign somewhere, come with us.
I've never even heard of half of those artists that you said. Who is Beyonce?
You
Who
haven't.
I don't
You
know who that
haven't.
is.
You haven't heard of Beyonce?
I'm
I'm
Queen
assuming it's a
Bee?
type of a soda.
Did you not hear about all of the news that she made just when she announced that she was having a kid with Jay-Z?
Who's Jay-Z?
Queen Bee.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry,
no.
but we'll
Please.
have to wrap it up.
Wrong.
You're wrong. Are you kidding me?
Back to God. I see both sides of the argument, but which label is better fit for you and your child musician? You, the viewers, can be the judges of that. Until next time, I'm Jenelle signing off.